Good evening and welcome to the show. Today we're going to be looking at the question, what is your customer really buying? It's an important question because it determines the nature of the follow up that we're going to do, both before the transaction is concluded and after the transaction is concluded, and also because the answer is going to be very useful in moving us away from transactional relationships. Now, a lot of us suffer in business because we keep things purely transactional. If things are transactional, there's no rapport built with the end user. Then there's very little, what's the word, incentive for people to keep working with you, because after all, if things are purely transactional, and you can find somebody else who does it at a cheaper price, then the most rational thing to do is to ignore Kunde, who provided some work for you last month, and then try Digi, because after all, everything is transactional. And so when things are transactional, the most important thing is price. So if you have an answer to the question, what your customer is really buying, and you have the right answer, then it's going to make it easy for you to get repeat business and to get referrals. So with that intro out of the way, let's move straight into it. Now, there are two answers. The obvious answer is that most people will say, my customer is buying a product or a service. Unfortunately, that answer is what keeps you on the transactional level. Now, there's some other people, especially those people who have more of a traditional sales background, like I do, who will say that the customer is buying a result. That is the much more better answer because it's the much more human approach to it, and it makes you come across as warm and endearing. Because the person who thinks that the customer is buying a result is going to call afterwards to find out about the result, whether the person achieved the result. Now, let's give an example to flesh things out. So, let's say you are a graphic designer and you design for people in the business to business space. So, you're a graphic designer, you specialize in designing banners, flyers, websites, or whatever for other business professionals. So, let's say you design stuff for lawyers, doctors, sales consultants. Let's see what else. You get the idea. If you are the typical person and you say the person is buying a product or a service, then after you design the flyer for the business person, you have done what it is that you were paid to do, and as far as you're concerned, the job is done. Any other follow up that you try to do after that is going to keep things very transactional and dry. You can't build any rapport after that. But if you believe your sales trainer, who is telling you that customers are actually buying a result, then you realize that even though you're a graphic designer, when you design promotional material for other business owners, what they're actually buying is they're trying to buy a result. The reason why somebody has gotten you to do the graphic design for them is because they have a program, a promo, and they're trying to grow their profits. Now, you, as the graphic designer, you have no control over that. And nobody's going to judge you if someone buys your design for the banner or your website or whatever, and the person doesn't get the desired results. Now, if anybody blames you, the graphic designer, for why your designs weren't able to bring in profits, then that person is just not thinking straight, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into a successful marketing campaign, and the graphic design, the banner, the website, those are just some parts of the whole picture, but it's not the whole picture. But you, if you realize as a graphic designer that the person is buying a result, which is more sales, then of course you're going to call later on to say, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Kunle. How you doing? How was the campaign? I hope you guys found my designs useful. You have that kind of conversation. It makes you come across as much more human. It shows that you're genuinely concerned, that you didn't just take the money and deliver a website and then that was it. Only to start sending messages 3 months later on to say, how far? I'm just calling to greet you. It shows that you're genuinely concerned about them as people and concerned about their businesses. You didn't just collect the money and ghost. You took the money and then you called later on to find out, did you achieve the results that you wanted to when you bought my product or my service? Now you can see how if you adopt the customer is buying a result approach, it makes you more human, it makes you more warm, it makes you more endearing, you build more rapport, and there is reason to come back to you later on because you're a human being who is concerned. And there's also reason for people to refer business to you because it shows that they're dealing with a human being. This is not just someone who takes the money and cuts out, but the person is concerned about the results afterwards. Now, that leads to another set of questions that we are going to explore tomorrow because if they reach back to you as a graphic designer, sorry, the other way around, if you reach out to them as a graphic designer to say, what's up? How did the marketing campaign go? I hope my stuff was useful. But then the campaign did not go according to plan. What are you supposed to do next? We're going to examine the implication of all those questions tomorrow. But for now, the summary, let's realize that what the customer is really buying from us is not the product or a service. They're buying a result. If you're a wedding photographer, people are not buying frames and albums and photos. They're buying a result. It's up to you to figure out what the result is. If the people are buying results, if the result that they're buying is they want glossy images of a happily ever after, or let me see what else, they're looking for stuff that they can use to trend on social media or whatever. I mean, there are lots of reasons why people might buy your product or your service. There are some people who are going to engage our services as a wedding photographer, and truly, all they are looking for is just pictures. In that case, it's nothing you can do really. They don't value the pictures beyond the pictures, and I guess there's nothing else that can come out of that relationship. So, whether you're in graphic designs, wedding photography, architect, whatever it is, realize that people are buying a result, and you want to call up afterwards is the human thing to do, is the warm and endearing thing to do, to find out did the people achieve their result by engaging you. That kind of approach is going to make your follow up much more fluid, much more personable. You're going to make things less transactional, and it's going to be easier for you to get repeat business and referrals because people will know that they're dealing with a human being. So, thank you very much for listening to today's episode. I'll catch you at the next recording tomorrow.